what inspired you to write a book about parenting in the
Hmm.
diaspora? Did you speak with other moms because you wrote about parenting in the teens or even vacationing?
Parenting alone can be heavy. Sometimes you need people to talk to. You have to create that village yourself. You have to create that community. Criticism and other opinions from people, I believe, do what works for you as a mom.
You've spoken a lot of times throughout this episode about like how kids are growing up in two different cultures, right? And I wonder what steps can you tell moms parenting in the diaspora to take in order to help their children deal with the duality of being raised between those two cultures. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Busy Moms Get It Done podcast. Before I introduce today's guest, I do have just one favor to ask you, which is if you enjoy podcasts like this, please feel free to share and to like it on wherever platform you're listening from. And if you are listening on YouTube, please feel free to subscribe, as well as if you have any guest suggestions, please send them my way. So today's guest is very special because she is discussing a lot of the things that people face when we are in the diaspora, when moms are parenting in the diaspora. So Jibby is the author of African Parenting in Diaspora, and her books really touches on some of the challenges that come with the parenting when you're parenting in a different country. Thank you so much for joining me on today's podcast.
Hi Esther, how are you doing today?
Good, I'm good. So before I jump into your book, I wanted to know, you're a mom of one. So what was your perception of motherhood like, when you were younger, and how did it meet with reality?
Good question. I always thought motherhood was mostly about joy, cuddles, cute outfits for the girls, and cute outfits for the boys, and celebrating the milestones of kids. And yes, those are real, but in reality, motherhood can be stretching.
Mm,
It comes with sleepless nights, learning, unlearning and relearning every day, moments where you wonder if you're doing enough for your little one. It's beautiful, but it's hard work. Motherhood abroad, especially, taught me that uh, joys and pain can work hand in hand. And challenges also can also go hand in hand. You grow, yeah, you grow as much as your child grows, basically. So that's just how it is. So it's a little bit different from how I thought it would be. Because when you have neighbors, friends, families that raises kids, you just say hello. Maybe they spend few minutes with you, an hour or two, cousins coming around, maybe just like a week, and you feel it's just all cuddles, all smiles every day. But in reality, it's a little bit different. It's a little bit different. Yeah.
Yeah, I think one thing that is like two things can be true at once. It can be really, really good and also really, really stretch you where you're like,
Like sweet
if
and
you
sour.
had told me this,
Yes.
nobody told me it would be like this.
You have to experience it. It's just like labor. No matter how you explain it to anyone that has not been there, you cannot
Mhm.
really say the way it is till you experience it yourself, basically.
No, very true. So you live in Canada now. So, but I wonder what was your immigration journey like, or experience? Why did you immigrate, and what have you found it to be like?
My journey has been filled with excitement. Canada for me represents a place of opportunity and safety, basically. And I immigrated for greener pastures and to develop myself in my career and to also educate myself. Then I later found it that it's going to be my home. I actually came into Canada as a student to study, it's marketing communications because I actually studied mass communications back home, and I started working in the marketing department for over 7 years back in my home country. So I just wanted something that's going to expand my knowledge for me to do more because it's a very interesting department. And I moved to Canada to do a little bit of studying, and we are here, and all of a sudden it just became home.
No, I love that because sometimes you're like, oh, maybe, things change as you go on. So
Yeah.
the book that you wrote, when I saw it, I was like, oh, this is very interesting and it will be interesting. So I went through it and I read it and I was like,
Mhm.
okay, what inspired you to write a book about parenting in
Mm.
the diaspora? Did you speak with other moms?
Mm.
Because you wrote about parenting in the teens or even vacationing. How did you come up with these concepts and ideas?
Mm. The inspiration came from actually living in it.
Okay.
Yes. The inspiration came from living in it. As a first time mom raising a toddler, I've been around mothers raising older kids, mothers raising teens, and mothers raising toddlers as well.
Mhm.
And in the course of writing the book, I've spoken to social workers, especially Nigerians, like the Africans that are social workers. I've listened to moms. I did a little bit of reading also, and even scrolling around social media and hearing everyday struggles of moms in the diaspora and how to help with their kids. I have friends also in other countries that we all relocated together to different places for greener pastures, facing the same struggles as well. So I realizes that our experiences overlap each other, and whether it's toddlers, teenagers, or you're planning or you're not relocating anywhere, you're just moving with kids that are depending on you going on vacations is still the same. So the book became a part of me to put voices together, like more like a guide. But like as I
Mhm.
mentioned, I recently updated my book to include more things and take out some. And I also wrote at the beginning at the book there was no author's page before. So now we
Right.
have an author's page where I'm trying to tell people that this is more like a guide to parenting. It's not a manual because it's not a one size fits all. It's more like something that says that you're not alone in this. There are so many people going through the same thing you're going through or similar experiences or something, one or two things you can pick out from this book. So the inspiration came from just living in it. Because I remember when I had my kid, then my mom wasn't around for like a month before she came. And in the months that I was alone with my partner, I knew the stress we went through before my mom joined us in helping out. So those instances to those things that I've seen here and there just inspired the book, basically.
No, I definitely think that such a guide is needed because there's not a lot of conversation about that helps guide those who are looking to, bring their kids over and parent in a different country. So
Mm-hmm.
I when I saw it, I'm like, I have to talk to her. I have to know, like, how did you write it? So one of the things that and the concept that you mentioned that I loved was the idea of being stuck between two worlds. And honoring tradition while letting your children adapt is something that all immigrants mother face. I will even say I faced it as a child, like coming into a different country. How do you suggest mothers in the diaspora deal with that challenge?
Okay. To me, it's all about balance, because you don't have to choose one culture over another. You can honor both traditions in a way that you still come up to. The most important thing is you raising a good child, you raising a kind child, you raising a child that you'll be proud to go into the world to prosper. So is you balancing it up. You can honor both by allowing your children to adapt to the new environment, but not leaving out their culture. For
Mm,
me, basically, it's about not leaving out the village, like I mentioned in the book, like
yeah.
raising them, still teaching them the basic things of the culture where they are from, and still making it balance up. Like when you have guests come to the house, you can teach your children how to greet them in the cultural way, the way we do. They can kneel to greet adults. They can bow. The boys can bow. The girls can kneel. They can be respectful in different ways. They don't have to kneel. They don't have to bow, but they can be respectful in our culture. And when they go out there to their classes, to their teachers, they can use they can do it the regular way it's being done out there. It's all about balancing and just trying to bridge the gap between them. You don't have to force them to be one way. You don't have to force them to be another, but you can just create a balance in the two to make it all shaping out more like flexibility so that everyone can just adjust. You have to keep the language alive in the home. You have to keep the food alive in the home. You have to tell them stories. There are cartoons out there also that are no more just English, that are also in our the native dialects. There are Yoruba cartoons out there. There's also the Igbo cartoons out there. So there are different things that you can do basically just to keep it alive in your home, just to make it more like using, just to make them know that they are not left out. So they won't grow up and not even know anything about their culture, so that they'll be proud of where they are from. So you can just balance, you can balance it out with the way they greet, as I mentioned. You can balance it out with maybe just the food, introducing them to the kind of food we eat back home, just to make them feel that they have where they are coming from, just to make them have a feel of the cultural background, basically.
I know you have a toddler right now, so I wonder, like, as someone who is coming from, back home to here, how have you been able to find the balance between, because you spoke about it, intentional parenting, and I think at the toddler stage, I that's literally is very difficult because they test you. I feel like they just test you, right? Intentional parenting and parenting from the way that you might have been taught growing up.
Okay. As I mentioned, I had to learn, unlearn,
Mm,
relearn, and I'm still learning,
right.
basically. I look back as how I was raised, and there are beautiful parts I want to keep, and there are some I don't want to pass across in raising my own child. Like respect, I want to keep that. Community and faith, I want to keep that. But there are also part that I needed to adapt, to learn and not keep that part. You can always speak to kids without using the rod. Here, you have to learn that here, that you can always use your words better than your hands, or by raising your voices. Just try to use your words. There are a lot of things that you can do differently here, and there are some things that you need to stay rooted in based on what is happening back home. Children are growing in two worlds, and sometimes the new words wins the latter, the former, I mean. But you still have
Mhm.
to be intentional about how you train them up. You need to do more than what our parents did. You need to, now we have lots of things that you can study. You can read books just like these books out here. You can hear people's experiences on social media. You can join different classes or communities, WhatsApp groups, to see what other parents are doing out there. Not to compare your kids, but to just know what is coming up and how to assist and how to help that child to grow. You just have to be intentional. You have to listen to your kids. They have to be free with you to be able to tell you stuff. You have to know their day to day to understand your child, because back home we have communities that raise kids that when you are not there, the villages, the other people, your neighbors can raise your kids for you. Your neighbors can and put a check on your kids for you. But here it's just you and your spouse, or you and any other family member you have here. So if it's all about you, you need to be there for your kids in every way that you can. Not that you wouldn't teach them, you wouldn't be firm with them when you have to be firm, but you just have to know how to keep the balance so that they would be able, so that they will be able to be vulnerable with you. They'll be able to speak to you and to be open about anything they face outside the home and in the home with you.
I definitely agree with that. I think that there has to be that balance between going through, like, you know, letting go of some of the things that you were taught, and then trying to also keep it together and
Yeah.
keep it like, okay, this is our new way of doing things. And I think a lot of people do forget that kids are like people, and they can reason. And it's not always like the best way of reasoning, but they
Yeah.
can reason. And there's definitely an aspect where you're like, yeah, this deserves some old fashioned parenting. But then there's aspect where it's you have to carve out your own path.
Mhm.
I also there was a point in your book where you wrote that your child refused to eat jollof rice, and instead of you opted for mac and cheese, you realized that parenting is not just about preserving culture; it's about adaptability. Later on, you discuss cultural expectations, and how sometimes being raised in a certain culture means you have to conform to certain ideas. I wonder how you've been able to navigate the two. How do you respond to judgments from those in, Nigeria who are like, well, or and how do you s- how do you advise mom to respond to those who were, from those from their culture, of like judging, this being trying to find this balance, right? Because they'll be like, in my culture, we don't do this, we don't do it like this. And so there is that tension of trying to please where you were raised from,
Mhm.
and also not, trying to do it in this new way? How do you help them to find that balance?
Okay. Children are growing in two worlds, as we know. Some of them were born here and some were born back home and brought here. So you have to know how to balance it. For a child that was born here and knows how to do everything here, you can compare to a child that has already been raised maybe to like 9 or 10 and you brought here. It's quite easier, I think, to be able to navigate or convince those ones on how to do things here than a child that was born here. So for criticism and other opinions from people, I believe do what works for you as a mom. For some
Mm,
people, they said they will say they're not going to let their kids watch watch the TV or cartoons. They don't have any business with TV till they are 3 or 4, or they don't have any business with their tabs till they are 3 or 4. I believe you should do what works for you, because a parent that isn't giving their kids tab till they're 2, 3, or 4 might have helps or might not be working, or might have other people that will be able to uh keep that child in check or keep an eye on that child at all times without them having to bother about stuff, or they themselves keep their eyes on the child, or they don't work, they don't have 9 to 5, or probably they are on maternity leave for a long time, or maybe out of work for a while. You can't compare with you that have a 9 to 5, or you have a business that you're doing, or you have other things that you want to put in check. Probably maybe you're a content creator and all that. I'm not saying that maybe you shouldn't totally cut the timing and do stuffs, but basically it's just do what works for you. For some people, I remember when I wanted to put my kid in the daycare as early as 11 months, and I just had a conversation randomly with someone in church, and she was of the perception that she doesn't think it's okay to take a child at 11 months to the daycare and all. I understood her opinion, and if I had an option, I wouldn't have done that too. But
mhm.
I work, and my child needs to be in a place that's safe, and I need to keep my job. My child at that time I already started working. She could also always walk into my office because I work remotely sometimes. Yeah. So I needed to keep my job, and I needed to also make her grow. Her seeing me all the time and how watching TV all the time might not help her develop as much as she should, because she'll be so clingy to me. So I made a decision that okay, she should start daycare, and so she can mingle with other kids and see other people, and not just me that she has been seeing in the past 11 months. To some people that may be too early, which is a no-no, but to me that's totally fine. So at the end of the day, I just think you should do what works for you as a mom, and what keeps your child safe, and what keeps your child healthy and happy. Because a healthy mom is a healthy baby, and a happy mom or a happy dad is a happy or healthy baby also. So regardless of the criticism out there or whatever balances what happening back home or what's happening here, you just do what works for you, as long as you're safe and your kid is safe, and as long as you're happy and your kid is happy.
No, I love that. I think that we do forget that each of our situations are different.
Mm-hmm.
And when we compare with other people, we often kind of hurt ourselves, right?
Yeah.
Because like you mentioned, you had to work at that time, and like, you didn't like it, just to you, like it felt better for her to be someplace else than for her to be with you, which
Mm-hmm.
like and some other people, like you said, they have help. They have multiple people who can help them in those situations. I want to pivot to the idea of village, right? Because we speak a lot in society about the fact that there is no village, but what I've heard is that obviously in other countries the village is a little bit different. And you said, can you discuss why it's important for moms parenting in the diaspora to create their own village? You mentioned churches in your book, and like starting out with that.
Okay. It's important for moms to join villages, because village in the aspect, like, I mean, like a group of a group of people, a community of people where you can talk to, because parenting alone can be heavy. Sometimes you need people to talk to. You don't have to talk to them all the time. Sometimes you don't even have to be the one talking. You can
Mm,
just be listening and reading people's experiences. It can be like a WhatsApp group. It might be like a church community, whereby it can be like even a community in your area. Maybe like maybe like you're in a group called Women in Toronto, people can be talking about women's stuff and still talk about their kids, talk about classes, talk about things that you can hear. You can ask for more information there, guidance, and things that can help you. It's very important because in Nigeria, I think we had a phrase or a saying back home there saying it takes a village to raise a child. So in this place, you have to create that village yourself. You have to create that community. It might not even necessarily be any group or any WhatsApp group or any joining any physical or physical group or digital group anyway. It might just be your friends. It might be you might have friends that are raising a child. You might have older friends that have raised a child before. That can also be your community. You might have somebody that you're close to. Just at least get someone that you can be close to, that you can speak with regarding things. Maybe things you can ask questions, quick questions that you don't have to wait all day at the emergency, because as a new mom, first time mom, or as a new African parent in diaspora, you can just ask questions about things that can help you. This can assist you to get things better for you. And it's always advisable to join these groups as much as when you even get pregnant, before you even have your baby. If that's for those that are just new nursing mothers, or if you're moving here for the first time or moving anywhere abroad for the first time, you're nursing mother, you can join these groups in advance. And I also know that when you're even expecting a child, there are so many flyers out there that you can see for communities, that if you need to talk to someone as a new mom, I know there are lots of that here abroad, that you can also join, or you can go with your kids after uh during postnatal, or when you just when you just had the baby, or before you have your baby. There's so many groups that you can join to learn a lot about things. So this will help, because carrying the burden alone is too heavy for you. So you need to have friends, people that you can talk to, basically. So the village in this aspect just means people that you can actually talk to at any point in time. You can even go to the park. You can meet people at the park. We have so many parks around here that you can go with your child. You can just move with a stroller, take a stroll in the afternoon or in the evening, and you see people in the park also with their kids. You can just have conversations and you go home. You don't have to have their numbers, or you can keep their numbers. It's just, and there are also communities, groups. If you check online, there are groups you can join here, that you can have Zoom meetings or WhatsApp meeting, or even go physically here. You don't have to know anybody. You can register for groups as a nursing mom that you can visit, or as a mom that you can just visit. So it's just very important for you, so that you won't just be lonely. You won't feel like you're alone. It will help you to know certain things about teenagers, about kids, and about toddlers. So you wouldn't think your child is different, or your child, like me. Sometimes when my kid does some things and I'm wondering that why is she doing this? And I go to some other person's house and I see that someone even older than her is doing the same. And I tap my partner, my husband, and I be like, see what she's doing. And our kid also does the same. So it's just okay for you, so that you can hear things and be like, oh, it's not new, and kids do this stuff, and you can just feel all right about it. Yeah.
No, I like that. I like the fact that it's kind of, it builds that community of like you're not in a bubble.
Mm-hmm.
You're and I love one thing that you said is like you're doing it not only like going out physically, but you're also doing it online, because a
Mm-hmm.
lot of, I feel like a lot of people be like, I'm busy, I don't have time to be taking,
Yeah.
and so like when you have it even online as a community, it can help you when you have simple questions. And
Mm-hmm.
WhatsApp is one way to like just be like, what is your kid doing this too? So that's very good. Um, you've spoken a lot of times throughout this episode about like how kids are growing up in two different cultures, right? And I wonder, what steps can you tell moms parenting in the diaspora to take in order to help their children deal with the duality of being raised between those two cultures?
Okay. I think you should talk openly about your culture. Tell them about back home, even if you're not traveling back home anytime soon, or you
Mm-hmm.
don't know when you want to fly with your kids at all. You just talk a lot about your culture. Talk a lot about them. As much as you speak English, kids have the capability to understand different multiple languages at the early stages. As much as you speak the general language English, and you can also speak your native language if you can. You can speak your cultural language or your native language to the kids. You can speak it to them often. If you say, you can speak the same thing at the same time. You can say go in English and also say it in your native language. You just have to balance it, to talk openly about your culture, teach them where they are from and how to answer in public. if they have native names as their first name or their middle name, explain the meaning to them. You can start through that also, even through food and stories. Celebrate both identities to them. Tell them, because most of our names out there are powerful. I have examples of some names in my book that we name. Let them know what the weight that those name carries and what it means for them as an identity. Most importantly, affirm that they are African, and they are also, for me, I'm here, I'm in Canada, so you can let them know that they are, as much as they are African, they are also Canadian, or they are also a US citizen, or they are also British. Whether they have for those that were born here already have that, but whatever they have, maybe they are teens, they are still toddlers or teenagers or whatever they may be. Just let them know that even if they don't have the passport or whatever it is they need to have, they are as well African, and they are as well whichever country they are. They don't have to feel lesser, maybe because of the color of their skin. Make them love the color of their skin. Make them love who they are, and it starts from home, basically.
No, that's important. Important. I wonder though, going on a personal note,
Mhm.
you're a parent yourself, your mom, you work your 9 to 5, and you also did this passion project. How do you navigate everything? How do you navigate it all?
It wasn't easy,
Mhm.
but for me, I had help. My mom made it easy. My mom was here for about 9 months.
Wow. Good.
Yes, my mom was with me for about 9 months, if not
Yeah.
more. And I also worked 9 to 5. I started
Right.
working quite early. I also worked 9 to 5. So when my mom left, that's why I had to take my child to the daycare, as I mentioned. But when my
Mhm.
mom was here, I started work early, and just wrote at my spare moments, basically. I wrote the book at my spare moments, early mornings, weekends, even during nap times and all. It wasn't as easy as much as and also when I was born, when I took my maternity leave in time, when I was home and not working before I had my baby, I started at that time until when my mom left. I think for me, passion carried me. I like to write. This is my first book, though. I never thought I was going to write a book. I knew I used to like writing poems growing up and little stuff like that. But I think passion kept me and reminding myself that this book is to encourage someone else, and also encourage people that they are not alone
Mm. No, I like that. We're rounding up
about that.
now, and so I'm gonna ask you one of the questions that I usually ask my guests, which is, in your opinion, in what way did motherhood inspire you to go harder in your passions, and in what way did your career or your passions inspire you to be a better mom?
It makes you want to you want someone, you already have this little one that looks up to you, so you for me it has made me want to do better than how I thought it. I keep aiming higher now because I want to make myself proud, and because I want to make my kid proud, and because I also want to be in the position to provide for her, to always be there for her and give her things that I couldn't afford, or my parents couldn't afford at that time, or just give her the best. I want her to enjoy her childhood. I want her
Mm,
to have the best of time. Also balancing needs with good morals from home. I want her to have everything. I want to give her everything so she wouldn't have a reason not to be everything she's supposed to be as a woman. So because my kid, she's female actually. With
mhm,
so I just want I just want to do better for myself in my career. I aim to be the best in my department. I aim to be the best in whatever I do. I see things I want to study hard. I want to do courses to make me just be better, to be a better person, because I don't want my child to look up to someone else. I want her to look up to her parents, to see that whenever they have started, who is your role model? I want our parents to be our role model. I want her to see us. I want to do better because of us. That because my mom could do this, because my dad could do this, then I want to do this. So basically, motherhood has made me aim higher in whatever I do. And I know for me, it made me also understand that life is not all about perfection, because motherhood
mm.
is not perfection. It's about balance, basically. And it's helping me honor where I'm from, embracing where who I am as a person, and looking forward to where I want to be in the future.
No, I love that. I think that once you become a mom, it does. it changes you and you're like, I have to, you feel like you have to strive. You have
Yes,
to
you have to
strive.
strive to always be on your feet, that you don't want to disappoint who
Yes.
you already have there. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Well, thank you so much, Jibby. I really appreciate your time. Where can people find you? I know your book is all over Amazon. That's why I find it. Is there any other place that they can find it as well?
For now, it's just Amazon. And recently, I'm still working on doing the hard copy, because I noticed some of the feedbacks I got from friends and family was that they don't like to study on their phone or on their
Oh,
iPad
okay.
and all.
Okay.
So I
It's
recently just submitted to do something on a physical copy now. For now, it's just an ebook, but I'm so soon now on later, maybe in the next few weeks, it's also going to be available in hard copy also. And there are major updates already on the book as well. So they can find me on Amazon, anywhere in the world, just the amazon.com. You can find it anywhere on Amazon for now.
Well, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for your time. To my listeners and my whoever's watching this, please feel free to like, please share it because I'm sure there's a lot of people, moms who are parenting in the diaspora that probably needs this guide. Thank you, and we will see you next time on Busy Moms Get It Done.